What do you do when you find yourself alone? How do you feel? What thoughts do you think? What actions do you take? Some people absolutely hate being alone. They'll immediately get on their phone and maybe do some scrolling through social media or call a friend or family member, or they might even, engage in other behaviors like drinking or just doing stuff, just stuff, not necessarily useful, just things to fill the time. I remember one of the very first time that I had acupuncture. They put the needles in and then they leave the room. So it's different from when you have a massage. There's somebody with you the whole time and you can talk to them. Or you can even be silent, but you're silent in company. And so you're not really alone. So I had all these needles in me, and then the therapist left, and gave me a buzzer and said to buzz if I had any issues or needed something. And I remember the first thing I thought of was, oh, I want my phone and I can't reach it. Now I'm stuck. What do I do? And then fortunately, the thought that followed next was, if you can't be alone for just 30 minutes by yourself, what are you doing? And I was so grateful that I had that insight, especially because just having that thought immediately took a lot of the anxiety away from being alone. And then I just began to reflect on my day and what I wanted out of it. And, was there anything I wanted to accomplish? What did I want to accomplish? What were my goals? Do I have goals? And then I went down a whole rabbit hole. And my session was over before I even knew it. When I flipped around to put needles on the other side, I went to work. I was alone and I went to work. I was thinking about, what I was working towards, where I wanted to be in 5 years and I wasn't doing anything at the time to really move the needle to where I wanted to be. And so I took those moments where I was alone to develop my game plan, to understand who I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, and how I needed to get there. And really, the only way that you can find the answers to all of these questions is by being alone. If you may think that you'll get some insight with other people, but if you come up with ideas when you're not alone, when you are with somebody else, they could possibly be influencing you, which is how a lot of people can end up into situations where they're not happy, or, in cases of victims of abusive or toxic relationships, in very unhealthy relationships with bad to dangerous people. So there's actually magic in being alone. And if you're ever uncomfortable, I would urge you to lean in, as one of my mentors says. If you're feeling the discomfort, lean in and feel the fear and do it anyway. There's a reason that you feel the discomfort. And that's because your subconscious has one job, and that's to keep you alive. And it wants you to keep doing the things that you've always done because they have always kept you alive. And your subconscious is not a risk taker, does not like taking risks, because then, you would be at risk for being alive, and that's its whole job. But the subconscious doesn't factor in having an enjoyable life into keeping you alive. And at least me, I would rather risk moments of discomfort, embarrassment, failure, to living a life where even if I wasn't, terribly unhappy, if I was just mediocre, that's not good enough for me. That is not good enough for me. I know I was put here, and I know I'm meant for more. And I actually believe that for everybody. I believe that everybody has a calling in particular, and that you just need to figure out what that is and embrace it. So enjoy your moments of being alone. Realize, do you like who you're hanging out with when you're alone? That was when I did a lot of my own personal growth. I would go over, especially if there were comments that people had made, like, oh, you're too sensitive. When you're alone, then you can take that in and be like, am I too sensitive? Do I know anybody else who would have reacted that way? How would I like to react in that situation? Was I happy that somebody made that comment and I immediately had to go run and cry, or I had to get angry to help fight the tears? That's not how I want to act. I want to be, calm, cool, and collected. I want to be that person that, people are like, wow, no one can make her angry. You can say like the meanest things and she's just calm, cool, and collected, and she's always has these responses. She's like a sage or a guru. Um, it's so pay attention. You already have all the answers inside of you. You just need to have the strength and the courage to listen.